My name is Adam, and let's dive into the concept of running a shelf test. A new study type called shelf testing. Right now it's flagged as beta. Let's just focus on how it works right now and how to set up the study. So first of all, I need to define the study name. I already said that this study is available only for desktop devices, so we have no choice here. Then I need to define what is the study limit. So in my demo study, that was set to 1 minute. Here, this is pretty important checkbox, show elements in random order. So this is the one that defines whether my products will be randomly presented on the shelf or not. And in my honest opinion, this is pretty powerful feature because it gives every single SKU the same chance to be noticed in different areas of the shelf. Then we have some additional additional elements to set, enable external tool integration, pretty important when you want to redirect participants back to the panel, and optional intro message. That's the hello, take a look at this shelf. You can click the products. So step number 2 is where when the fun begins. So here we need to upload our SKUs. SKUs can be basically really anything. It can be just not even images with not even transparent background, what happens very often, and RealEye will take care of the rest. So these are just images with the product with white background. This is very often something that I see our customers needs to operate if they want to test the products versus their competitors. And this is how the default shelf looks like. Right now, we can design how many shelves we want to have. So we can test it five, 6, even I think 10 shelves at once. We can define the shelf height. I made it too big, so my products were automatically dropped from the shelf to the storage. I'm going to bring them back. And then we can choose the shelf theme. Right now we have 2 themes, the wooden and the default. Looking forward to your feedback about these designs, as we are it's rather easy thing for us to add additional designs. So the default one is my favorite, so I'll stick to this one for this demo purpose. And the last one, show prices, which means that every single product can be presented with this small label that we can customize, and I'm going to show you in a moment how to do it. I would like to show you what options do I have with each one of the SKUs. So starting from the top left, I want to have 2 Coca-Colas next to each other, 2 different flavors, and each one will be presented, let's say 3 products in a row. So first of all, I need to make the item size a little bit smaller. I've already cropped the background. This is that was the first button. Here I can define how many items I would like to have stacked next to each other, and in the next option I can define how many products are stacked behind, bringing up this feeling of 3D environment. Then next product, it's going to be this Coca-Cola that was brought up to storage, and I'm doing the same movement, so removing the background, making it a little bit smaller. Of course, that's pretty important feature. As you can imagine, we can test cans of the products next to the full bottles, and that would bring a difference if that would be something like irritating if the can would be in the size of the of the bottle, obviously. Okay, so that's the second product, and we can move over to third and so on. Just one more thing, adding the label allows us giving the item a name. So we're going to have Coca-Cola here, and the item price is going to be $2.99. So as you can already see, it was marked properly here on the preview. And as you can already imagine, as a final output, if I spend a little bit more time, I can create something, in my opinion, beautiful as this, that allows to bring me full control on what is displayed and how it is displayed. So all the labels, all the products, all the positions, with an option to randomize them in places. This is the actual engine of it, and what I wanted to show you is the randomization feature. So every time I refresh it, you can see that the products are stacked in the different places. And even though it's a small feature, I think it's one of the most powerful. And when it comes to this shelf testing, as it brings the option to being noticed even for every single product. Okay, so let's say that I've just finished setting up my shelf. Right now I have two options. I can either launch the preview of the shelf, share the preview link with my collaborators or panel providers so they can embed it already in the survey, or just start the study by selecting the maximum amount of participants I would like to invite to this study. Generating this study, it takes a little bit longer than generating a usual regular study. As you imagine, lots of things are happening under the hood. So our system needs to map everything correctly, bring the areas of interest in places, and so on. But once it's done, we are redirected to the study dashboard that probably some of you are already familiar. All the individual SKUs are right over here on the left. And we obviously have our shelf generated right over here, ready to put some heat maps based on the people data on it. Okay, so that's basically closing the part number 2, creating the study. And I think we're ready to go to part number 3. So this is the study that we've already collected around 40 results today. This is my result. I was participating in the study a moment ago. So here it is, Adam Mayo. So what we can see in the data analysis. So first of all, we can see individual participants test flow. So this is where the participant calibrated. The calibration was graded as good. Instruction, and then we see for how much time this participant spent browsing at the shelf and which products this participant was clicking, choosing. Of course, this is just a visual way to present it. The data can be also downloaded as a CSV file or XLS, transformed into XLS to make it, let's say, more accessible when it comes to numeric way. Then we can see the individual participants' recordings. So this is a recording of gaze and mouse movements on this shelf. So we can see that I was browsing, I was looking at Coca-Cola, Hortex, Timbark. So this is all the entire flow of me looking at these products individually. But to be honest, I don't think that this is the actual value in the shelf testing, as this is mostly made for quantitative type of research. So I'm not going to focus on the individual recordings, but I'll jump into the aggregated data analysis. So to do that, I need to click this heat maps button next to the actual item that it's in my scope of interest. I could also click the heat maps button next to each individual product to see the heat maps and the data behind the individual SKUs, but I want to start with the general heat map. So this is it. This is data from 222 tests. You might think right now, why 222 tests instead of 41? And this is because this is a number of interactions with this shelf. And so whenever someone puts the product down, then there's another. It's quantified. It's calculated as the next iteration. We call it exposure, so we can only filter participants by, for instance, the very first exposure. So right now, as you can see, there is 41 out of 222 tests, which brings us a little bit the answers the question that we had. Okay, so this is the heat map of the very first interaction. Let's focus on the very first interaction instead of all of them, just for an example. And what we can see right now is obviously we can see the heat map, but this is just a data visualization. What is probably more important is the actual data behind the heat map. So this is where a little bit of magic happened. So there's no need to create these areas of interest manually anymore. So the system knows where the products are on the shelf. So it can automatically create these areas of interest for us, providing us with the results at the, in my opinion, exceptional speed. Because let's say we just launched this study and we just collected the results and we have all the results mapped. There's no need to do any manual work when it comes to mapping areas of interest. let's start analyzing which products capture the most attention and, and how it looks like when it comes to different metrics. To do it, I'm going to hit this area of interest report button, where we have all the areas of interest already predefined for us. So these are our areas of interest that were automatically created, and we can start sorting them out by different elements. So let's start by VIA. This is a visual attention index, and this is one single metric that combines three, let's say, key eye tracking components, meaning how fast people notice, how much time they spend, and what's the ratio. So how many participants have noticed this area at all. So merging all these three king eye tracking metrics, we are bringing up this visual attention index that brings us information about this particular area of interest score in percentage, among others. So in this, in our test, when we had 40 participants, Mountain Dew seems to be the winner. Then we have this FY key. This is like a new soda that is being tested by on Polish market at least. Then we have Sprite, carrot juice, and then we have Coke. We can also filter out by time to first fixation, meaning how fast how fast people were noticing. So in this case, this product was visible in average the fastest after 5 seconds. Then there were Pepsi, carrot juice, Fanta, and so on. We can also sort by time spent. And here we have this Mountain Dew as the winner. So people in average spent 0.07 seconds looking at Mountain Dew on the shelf. We can also filter by clicks, how many choices. And here we have Coca-Cola. Since we are analyzing only the first exposure, then that was the first choice, let's say, of each individual participant. Average revisits, average fixation duration, and the ratio, which is probably also pretty important. So 90% of participants have noticed carrot, and also 90% have noticed Mountain Dew. Let's check Coke. 78% have seen Coca-Cola in the very first interaction. Okay, actually, I'm quite curious to see how all of the interactions, what will bring from what we'll see from the data when we select all the exposures. So the data is loaded right now. Let me click areas of interest report. So we can actually use it to see how every single SKU performed with when all the exposures were counting. So within the visual attention index, still Mountain Dew is the winner, Coca-Cola on the second place, apple juice, Pepsi. When it comes to ratio, because that was actually something that was interesting for me, 100% of people noticed Mountain Dew, 100% people apple juice, Pepsi, Coke was visible for 95% of people. Quite interesting. And when it comes to clicks and declarative choice, that's also quite interesting because it feels like this product was picked up the most times. And that's pretty interesting insight. To be honest, I would also be interesting to bring it up because I'm not sure whether it's a juice, taste water or anything. So this effect of something new brings up the the curiosity of participants, apparently. We don't have here yet the column of how many times it was brought back to the shelf or picked up. As mentioned, this data is there obviously, but we don't have this layer of presentation yet. It will be bring to RealEye probably next week. But yeah, that's the type of data that we can get out of such research. And lastly, since we are bringing the products closer, we can expect to have also the heat maps and information about the products on the individual level, so on the SKU level. So for instance, this juice was picked up 12 times. It means that we can also analyze the envelope of this product. There is some attention here on the right, and this is because here we had these two buttons, add to cart and return to the shelf. So this is why the attention here is disturbed. Something that we need to work on how to eliminate this bias. But basically, you can create all the areas of interest based on these individual SKUs as well, and see how people are reading the envelopes of these individual SKUs. Well, basically as usual. I'm looking for some product that has, and that was brought up many times because the heat maps are rather not really dense at the when the product was brought up just several times. Okay, let's just stick with the Timbark. So we can start creating areas of interest to see how much attention went to each individual element on the SKU, meaning logo type, some slogans, captions, and then gain some insights on the actual product label as well. Last but not least, all the data can be exported starting from the rawest possible, meaning gazes, then through fixations, but you can also export the area of interest data for all of the areas of interest that were created. So basically, once you start the study and capture the results, all the data that is happening right over here within this area of interest is ready to be analyzed and get some insights of it. Okay, this is everything I've prepared for today. So I hope you enjoyed it. In case you have any additional questions or you have any additional ideas, then we are here for you. And thanks for coming and have a great day or evening whenever you are right now. Bye bye.